Hi, my name is David McLeod. If you've been following my affirmation videos for any length of time at all, then you probably already know that one of the things I talk a lot about is that we all have choice in every single moment. In fact, if you think about it, our entire lives are made up of choices. A very large sequence of choices, to be sure, but choices nonetheless. Now, most of these choices happen very quickly and largely unconsciously. For example, just consider the simple act of walking across the room. Now, every step of the way, literally, is a choice that you make, but you probably don't even think about what the options are. However, if you think about it for a moment, you probably realize that there are hundreds of pathways you could take that would get you from where you are now to where you want to go. So your decision points might be things like, do I want to walk directly across the room, or do I want to water some flowers along the way? If I choose the direct route, do I want to walk, run, skip, or dance across the room? Now, these are pretty high-level choices, likely to be more conscious than unconscious. However, once you've chosen the method to cross the room, you probably don't give much more thought about it. You just execute your choice. Even though your brain is constantly sending signals to the muscles in your body so that your legs and feet move in just the right way to get you to take a single step, your brain is still in scanning and decision-making mode during the entire journey. Other kinds of choices may be somewhat high level and still be unconscious. For example, you may be feeling depressed, and so your body movements may reflect this through your shuffling gait and maybe with your head hung low. Or you may be feeling very upbeat and enthusiastic, so your gait may reflect this through a more confident stride with your head held high. In either case, you probably aren't consciously aware of this choice as you make it, and you may remain unconscious about it unless someone else happens to comment on how you seem to be showing up. Well, so what? You might be asking, what does all this have to do with anything? Well, for me, I think it's important to bring as many of my decisions into my conscious awareness as possible. Not so much because I want to know what choices I'm making, but more importantly, because I want to be aware of the potential outcomes of my choices. This is where I think the most powerful decision-making actually occurs. Now, obviously, I may not be able to predict the exact outcome of any particular choice I'm going to make. But if I've made a similar choice before, then I can compare all the parameters and be reasonably confident that if the circumstances are similar, then the outcome will probably be similar as well. This gives me information that I can use to really help me and inform myself about my decision-making process. And so I can ask myself, given who I am today, is that outcome the kind of outcome that I want to create in the world? Or to be a little more succinct, I can rephrase it this way. What kind of impact do I want to create in the world, and what choice can I make that will be most likely to create that impact? The truth for me is that I don't always make the highest choice. Sometimes I am caught up in the drama of my own life situation, and I allow my choices to be made from a place of fear-based ego need. When that happens, my choice may lead to an outcome that doesn't reflect the truth of who I really am. But guess what? That's okay. I'm human, and I'm allowed to falter and make mistakes. However, when that happens, I also get to remember that a mistake is an opportunity for me to reflect on a choice and decide if that's how I want to continue showing up. The same is true for you. You can continue making choices the way you do right now, and you can deal with the consequences of your choices in the way that works for you. Or you can look at how your decision-making process is working for you now, and you can reflect and consider how your choices are affecting your life and the lives of those around you. And from that place, you can choose, if you wish, to begin making future choices from a place of higher consciousness. I believe that if we all make choices that serve our own highest calling, the impacts of our choices will show up in the world in a way that will make us proud. Bless you, and bless the choices that you make.